Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. As football season approaches, so too do the fall invaders. Stink bugs, ladybugs, box elder bugs, bugs aplenty. Flying insects will be looking for a place to winter. Southeast Termite and Pest Control will offer a one-time exterior treatment. I'm going to do it myself. You should too. One-time exterior treatment to keep all those bugs out of your house. They can go winter somewhere else. Let them go do a timeshare in Florida. You don't want them in your house. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control this week to protect your home from stink bugs, ladybugs, and box elder bugs this winter. All right. Today we are asking 7 big questions about the Volunteers as they get ready to hit the practice fields. Next one probably seems obvious, but we'll see if anybody comes up with a surprise answer. There it is, fill in the blank number 2. Blank and blank will be the most important duo this fall. We started with Bob on the last one. Let's go with somebody else. Who wants to kick off?
Well, I mean, the two I had that come to mind, I mean, obviously I would think about Jalen Reeves-Maybin, but I would look at the linebacker with Darren Kirkland Jr. and Cortez Sapp. That if those two guys can have the type of year Tennessee believes they can have, and Butch Jones who says he thinks it's the best linebacking duo in the country, I believe, then you should have a pretty good defense.
So you're talking, here.
I'm talking Kirkland and Sapp. And hoping, you know, it's kind of like a group, but I'm talking Kirkland Jr. and Sapp.
Okay, mine was going to be Reeves-Maybin and Kirkland, because you need those guys on the field. If something happens to one of those guys, is it Sapp? Who's the next guy, and how good are they going to be on a regular basis? Whereas, somebody has to have Hurd and Kamara, do they not?
Oh yeah, I mean that's not like that's the obvious one.
Well, that's okay. That's what I want.
Oh, okay.
Then I surprise everyone with my brilliant linebacker answer.
Which got walked on.
Yeah. So
I had Hurd and Kamara.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I had Hurd and Alvin Kramer, but I can't quite read that.
Great movie, Kramer versus Kamara.
But I think it's Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara for the simple reason that Tennessee, I think, go back to what I said about the offensive line.
Yeah.
Win the close games, controlling the ball at the end. I think Jalen Hurd legitimately could be a Heisman Trophy candidate if things go well for Tennessee. And Alvin Kamara can just be a game changer. He can go into the slot as a receiver. You see what he could do running not necessarily trick plays, but the reverses and the end arounds, things like that. So
plus special teams.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, if he can return a couple of punts here or there. So I think Hurd and Kamara staying healthy in a huge season from Hurd, and if Kamara ends up over 1,000 yards total, not just rushing, I think Tennessee's done very well.
Gentlemen, who you got?
That was certainly on my list, but to be a little bit different, I went with the safeties. I went with Todd Kelly Jr. and Sean Galden. You got a defensive coordinator that wants to be very aggressive. He's going to come after you. He's going to blitz a lot. What's the last line of defense? It's those safeties, and they're 2 new safeties. And I like what I've seen out of Todd Kelly Jr. so far. He seems to have a nose for the football. With I think he led the team in interceptions last year with 3. Right. But I think he's going to be solid. The other safety position, if Galden doesn't come through, who is it? I think that's going to be important when you are trying to install such an aggressive defense.
Mike?
Well, I really worked at this word duo. I thought, how important is the word duo? Is there some significance to that? So I overthought it and even thought, well, who are 2 guys really that work together as a duo? And I thought Riley Lovingood and Parker Henry, the new holder and snapper. But we can't call them the most important, probably. So
unless they miss 5 times.
So I went with 2 receivers, and I picked Josh Malone and Preston Williams.
Okay, that's your duo.
That's my important duo to stretch the field. And
well, I expected everyone to come back with Hurd and Kamara, and the reason I was going to say, and do say, Reeves-Maybin and Kirkland is Kamara and Hurd may be on the field at the same time some this year, but it's not a lot. If you lose one of those guys, you have the other one. Now, Hurd is your bell cow. I mean, Kamara, it'd be hard for him with his build to get in there. You'd have to push John Kelly in, but you've at least got one. You need Reeves-Maybin and Kirkland out there. I mean, so much of football now is just 4-2-5.
Yep.
Those guys are always on the field. One of them's already got the shoulder. To me, you don't know what you've got depth-wise. That's the most important because, well, hell, your linebackers. That's it. They're your 2. So that's why I went with them over the running backs.
Your depth situation, if you lose both those linebackers you're talking about,
yeah.
If you lose Hurd and Kamara, you got the same issue a little bit with depth too. And I know they like Kelly, But boy, I think there's a significant drop off between those two running backs and Kelly, just like
That's
there
if
is.
you lose two. I'm thinking
Right.
if you just lose one of the duo, you could
Right.
still.
But
Both,
if you- but
both
if
the
you lose-
linebackers are playing at once. One of the running backs is, but they're both.
Yeah. I'm just looking if you
Yeah.
lost both of them at each, though. If you
Yeah.
lost both linebackers, both the running backs, your depth is really not very good right there, I don't think.
Well, and as Bob said, what's the key to this team is the run game. So if you're looking at losing both of them, I think then you put your running backs up there ahead of the linebackers. But I think in terms of if one of those guys goes down, you might be able to get by with Kelly and Hurd, Kelly and Kamara. Linebacker, I have more question marks about what's behind him. Maybe great. Corte Sapp may have the year of years. We'll find out. All right. Next question when we come back. What two assistant coaches will be under the most pressure this season? Come on back on the Sports Source.